Welcome to the Be Your Best Self Life Planning Series. I am your host, Lakita Brooks, LCSW. Thank you so much for joining me today. Well, last week we had a really great discussion with the Be Your Best Self Life Planning Series where we talked about relationships and I talked about, a few different things about my personality and how I've handled things. Well, one of the things that happened was Candy Renee made a statement about, she believes that a lot of individuals have surface level relationships. And that could be part of, the problem with society. And then Maisha also chimed in. So I'm a person, for those who know me, you all know that I'm a thinker. So I'm a person who will have a conversation with someone or something will happen or whatever it may be, but I'm going to reflect on it later on. And I might even take a few steps to actually do some research to really see, well, is it that I personally just have a lot of surface level relationships, or is there something a little deeper to get to the root of it? So I really appreciate Candy and Maisha for, chiming in last week. So with me saying all that, I actually did some research and I posted a link that's in the description to go into more detail. So I think that definitely, as Candy stated last week, that some people have surface level relationships and that, that could be it. But then when I did some reflection for me and based on who I am as a person and how I've operated, even when I, reflect back to middle school and high school, which was, oh my gosh, like, I guess 20 plus years ago? I don't even, it's been a long time. And when I think about it, I've always had a bestie. So when I started doing some research in the article that's posted, it talks about how there are 6 levels of relationships, right? So it starts out with at the lowest level is going to be an acquaintance. The next level is a friend. The following level, the next level in the hierarchy that's higher is a committed friendship. I think somewhere in between there's a companion, there's a best friend, and a life partner. So I realized for me personally, I've had a life partner sometimes, and I've pretty much always operated in the realm of having a best friend. So I've always just had like 2 or 3 people who were like my it's. They were my go-to for emotional support. Talk about my dreams, my aspirations that I brainstorm with, that I talk about business with. I've talked about school with, I've talked about parenting with. So I've always just had best friends, and then I had acquaintances. So basically, in my little box of a world, I always just felt like, hey, I have a best friend that's like a one-stop shop, and I might have typically 2 or 3, but I would typically say I've always just had maybe like 2 really close friends, and everyone else was acquaintances. So for me, it's not necessarily about surface level relationships. It's simply I've always just, and I guess part of it is just having those best friends that you really trust and you can pour out your heart and soul to, and you just know that no one else is going to hear your business. Okay. So that was, I guess, my reflection over this past week after having a discussion with Candy Renee and Maisha on the Be Your Best Self Life Planning Series here at 8 a.m. on Facebook Live LCN Enterprise. So now we fast forward to today with me working towards building a business, getting the information about Youth Source Academy, working on getting contracts and funding for my program that offers life skills and mentorship and career planning. And now I'm starting to see, as I'm in my 30 pluses now, and I'm beginning to evolve to recognize that, hey, I need, that best friend. A life partner, would be great. But if all else fails, a best friend. But then it's also good to have that companion. And companions are those individuals that you just get together and do events with. So now I have a few companions. I have a few friends now where I don't pour out necessarily my heart and soul and my deepest, darkest secrets, but I do reach out to them because I enjoy spending time with them and us talking about, once again, our goals, our aspirations, what we're doing now to help us with building our business and those things that we're doing. So now as I'm evolving, I can see how I have, and even some people are acquaintances. You might meet them at a networking event and they were just a nice person to me. And if you ever need to refer someone, if I ever need to refer someone to their resources, I'll know what they do, but they're an acquaintance. So now I can see that I have acquaintances, I have companions, I have friends, and I have a best friend. But it's part of my own personal journey with, just, I guess, growing up and just becoming a more mature adult and recognizing the need for those types of relationships, especially as I'm going to the next level. So I would encourage everyone that for me, it's been a moment of self-reflection for me. And I would encourage everyone else to have a moment of self-reflection. If you're interested in going to the next level like I am, we have to, take that time to really reflect and see, hey, what are my areas of weaknesses? And I would just say, for me personally, I don't know if I would call it an area of weakness, but I guess I would say it's something that's needed that I don't naturally do. Like when I think about my sister or I think about my daughter, they are like really outgoing, extroverts, life of the party, really friendly, always talking to everyone. And I'm that person that will go to the party and will observe and socialize and smile and be to the side. So as I'm on this journey of building LCN Enterprise and getting those good connections for USource Academy, I'm, really looking forward to sharing my experiences with you all and just different things that I learned as I'm on my journey of building a multi-million-dollar business with the plans of hiring tons of social workers and other individuals to help run this operation. Because at the end of the day, it's about community, advocacy, and helping our youth. Thank you all so much for your time today. Until next week, 8 a.m., LCN Enterprise, LLC. Be your best